Have you asked yourself the question, what are the humans building? In the sense that you stand back, you stand on Mars, you look down on Earth, you see all of the humans building all of these little things, and everything leads to something that then is another building block that stacks, and that whole explanation you gave. What's the end result that they're building towards that they don't realize?
that they don't realize.
Or realize. I mean, I think we don't realize it. I think everybody goes out and tries to bring value and tries to solve problems, and then when you look back on the stack, it's always very obvious. And it's So where are we going to be when we look back and be like, oh, that was the main purpose of the contact lenses and everything, or that was the main purpose of artificial intelligence as a whole, you know?
I mean, I think in some ways this kind of question is frankly unknowable. How many times have you heard somebody say nobody could have predicted Uber when the mobile, when Apple launched iPhone, right? This is the problem with all these building blocks and the infinite set of possibilities that come from combining them. It's like almost infinite, right? The human brain cannot traverse all those forks in the road. And so we make up stories to make sense of the world after the fact. We're good at that. So I think, in a lot of ways, these things are unknowable. I personally am a pretty optimistic guy. We have some major challenges, for humanity in front of us, like no joke, major challenges. But part of my optimism for the idea that we can somehow find a way to solve these is that, if you again look back at all of human history, we've probably always been on the cusp of defeat. Like really. If you look back a few years, it's major world wars, right? And genocides and all kinds of horrible things we've done to each other. If you look back further than that, it's plagues. If you look back further than that, it's, bands of people, killing each other in the first cities and
tribes,
all of it, right? If you look back further than that, it's lions and tigers and other plagues. And, who knows? It's just, there's always been something, right? And there's good evidence from what I understand in the DNA record that there was some kind of winnowing event where, everything kind of went down to just a few people, and somehow we managed to thread the needle on that thing. And here we are today. So the idea that humans have ever had a safe period, I think it might be an artifact of the stability of kind of the last 50 years or so, this perspective that, stability is a thing. Like maybe it's not. But hey, we've managed to string together some decades of kind of a continuing overall boats rising kind of situation. And it's not that there aren't fantastic examples of destruction and bad things happening over the last 50 years. There are plenty of those, like plenty. But there is a way of looking at the last 50 years and thinking that we are having a more intelligent conversation today with each other about inclusion. And I don't just mean that in the kind of social context, but just generally, just inclusion and acceptance of each other all over the world. I think we have more of that narrative going today than we have at any time in the past. And part of the reason we have that is because airplanes can put you anywhere and the internet can let you communicate with everybody. And who knows around the world, the different geographies that might listen to this podcast, right? So our technology has let us come together a little more and feel a little more human and a little less like others. And if there's any grand direction I hope that we're solving for, it's that whatever comes next to drive, growth in economies and production of stuff for humans to consume and live by, I hope the trend of that we'll look back and say, yeah, these things actually brought us closer together. There will be missteps. We can certainly have a conversation about whether social media, is that a plus or a minus for bringing us together? You can make a case either way. So I'm not saying I have all the answers, or that technology is uniformly good. I'm not saying that. But I would like to hope that the tools we're building and building upon overall are making us feel more connected, not less.